In this video, we are going to give you 2 simple tips to help turn your YZ125 into a race-ready rocket ship. This is a stock YZ125, and this is a brand new 2023 hardcore racing race-tuned YZ. And in this video, we're going to show you how to turn your stocker into a rocket ship. But to start things off, we need to see how this thing performs on the dyno. First things first, Roland has to go through a few warm-up cycles to get the stocker ready for a full power run. Once he's done that, we are ready to give it some beans. How many ponies is this thing packing? Leave your horsepower guesses in the comments down below. Okay, so that's the 2023 YZ125 on the dyno in its stock form. Roland, what are the base numbers that we're aiming to beat then?
Well, the base numbers are 32.4 horsepower.
That's a number that we're aiming to beat here in this video. To be fair, that's quite a decent number for a 2023 125, isn't it? It's up there with all the competition.
Well, it's certainly there. You know, the gas is still a little bit higher than everywhere else as far as a peak horsepower figure. So the new fuel injected KTM and Husqvarna, it's right there and has, you know, it sort of like hasn't got an identical curve, but has its strengths that are slightly different to that bike. But no, it's certainly, it's there.
So 32.4 is the number to beat. We left Roland for a few days to allow him to fit the new modifications. We then returned to the dyno room to get some horsepower numbers for this upgraded YZ. And I'll tell you all about these upgrades in just a second. But first, let's twist that rig. We only needed one full power run to get the numbers we were looking for. Okay, Roland, so you've completed stage 1 of the process here on the 23 YZ125. First of all, just talk us through what is stage 1, what have you done to the bike at the moment?
From your first visit through to this one, all I have done, I haven't had to change the jetting at all. It's actually, you know, I moved the jetting around, ended up back where I was. So we fitted the 2nd generation HJS exhaust system and the Get ECU, which is CDI in the case of a 2-stroke, which has been set up and remapped by the boys at VHM.
Just 2 bolt-on things you've done there?
Yep, absolutely nothing else has been changed. So I've moved the jetting around and so forth. We've ended up back with exactly the same jetting we were before. So it's absolutely the same bike, just with an exhaust system and a CDI plugged in.
Talk us through what differences that makes on the dyno. You've just done a run here. Talk us through the numbers and what we're actually seeing on screen there for the uninitiated that are looking at that curve and might not know what we've got.
Basically, the bike has got more power right from the get-go really, so from 6,000–7,000 RPM right the way through. It's got slightly more over rev. Peak horsepower is just under 2 horsepower again, but just before peak.
We're sitting at 33 now, are we?
34.
34 now.
34, yes. But anyway, the bottom line is, for me, what is more important is, because to screenshot just that singular peak horsepower figure is a bit ridiculous. You could lose 5 horsepower everywhere else and gain that little bit there, have crap torque, have a rubbish bike that doesn't work on track, and say, yeah, I've gained 3 horsepower. But that's absolutely a nonsense. What you're really looking at is, as you'll see from the dyno graph on this, it gains right the way through. Just before peak, there's about a 2.3 horsepower gain, which to bolt on these 2 parts is pretty impressive. You know, they've both done the work and it's a good job, yeah.
So like if we're looking at the graph that I'll show on screen now, the blue line is this version of the white red line's the standard, and you can see all the way through that it's just improved. Which is insane from 2 bolt-on products, isn't it?
I'd never say this bike was a lame duck against its competitors. You know, it's there, it works, it has its strength, it has its weak. You know, they have their strengths. I think with this kit bolted on, you're pretty much, without getting overexcited, so you could talk about sub £8,000, which puts you right in, and in fact cheaper than some of you.
And these parts.
And these parts, you're looking sub £8,000. You've got a bike that is, which has the best handling, it has the best suspension on the market, but it now and build quality of the cycle parts and the engine parts, but you've now got a bike that is smack bang right in there and competitive on the performance stakes. I think it's a good setup, and for stage one,
yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, so stage one complete. We're going to head to the track and see what these dyno numbers translate to on the track, how much faster it makes us. Then after that, stage two. So we know the difference on the dyno, but what is the difference on track? We've come to Apex Motocross today and we've teamed up with Matt Ridgway. He's going to test the bikes back to back, stocker first and then the hardcore version second. I'm going to see what difference our changes make on the track. So like I said, the first bike up on track is the stock YZ125. Let's see what this thing is made of. As you're about to see, the conditions here at Apex Motor Park today are deep and difficult for these little 125 bikes. You can just hear the power being sapped out of these things on these uphill straights here. The weather certainly has not been ideal here in the early part of 2023. But the team at Apex have done a great job to get this track turned around for us here today. And Matt is now on the gas on board the stock YZ125, or YZ if you're from the States. Now a little history on Matt Ridgway here. We've known Matt for quite a few years. He's somewhat of a 125 expert. He's been racing the 125 class at the AMCA Championship for a number of years now. He has also got some Yamaha experience. He raced for Roland on these YZ125s a couple of seasons ago. But at the moment he's racing Husqvarna's for the Midwest racing team. And we're down into one of the most important parts of the track there. These two tight corners at the bottom of the hill. And then a long drag back up. You can just hear the power being sapped out of that little YZ125. You can see the conditions so deep here today at Apex. So yeah, like I said, Matt's got plenty of experience on these little rippers and on the Yamahas as well. So he's a great tester for us here today. Matt actually did do a number of laps on each bike, and I've picked the fastest one here to show you guys today. We're coming round to the last part of the track now, just a handful of corners left to go for Matt Ridgway on the stock YZ125. What is this bike made of? Remember, 32.4 horsepower. This thing is packing. Into the final two turns now. Before I reveal the lap time, let's get the tuned version out there. Okay, so Matt is out there now on the hardcore tune YZ125. This is stage one of the tuning. It's got a pipe and an ignition on it. So nothing too drastic, but as we've proven, it's got some better numbers on the dyno, so he's going to see what it's like on the track at the moment. Matt's out there now. Roland has his finger on the trigger there, and we've got the GoPro on as well, so we can get a dead accurate time. So we're back on track with Matt Ridgway. He's now on board the hardcore tune YZ125 with the HCS pipe and the CDI change. And you could instantly hear the sound difference between the two bikes. This version has just got a slightly different exhaust note. I tell you what, it does sound strong out there. Remember, on the dyno, we got a 1.5 horsepower boost with these two changes to bring this machine to 34 horsepower. It's just a strong little 125, certainly competitive in its class. And as Roland mentioned earlier, the advantages of a Yamaha in general are the handling, arguably the best chassis and handling in the category. And many people also say that the Yamaha boasts the best stock suspension. go. Down once again into one of the most important parts of the track. A couple of tight corners here at the bottom of the hill. And it sounds like Matt's got some great drive coming up the hill this time. On the race tune, YZ125. About halfway through the lap now. So far, so good. This bike is looking strong, in my opinion. And sounded oh so good. On the gas out of the tight hairpin there, just a handful of corners left to go for Matt Ridgway then. How much faster is the race tuned bike going to be? Is it even going to be faster? We don't know. The track conditions have got worse since the first lap. We did try to turn around as quickly as possible, but the conditions did get deeper between sessions, that's for sure. And here we are, across the line. What's the time? Okay, so the time to be on the stock Yamaha was
2:15.14.
2:15.14, we're saying. Double check that. Just give us a comparison between the stock bike and this race tune version.
Yeah, this race tune version is definitely a lot better off the bottom. Mid, it's good all the way through to fair. It pulls really strong. You sort of hit a wet patch and you've got the power there to pull you through it. With the stock one, it's a little bit sluggish. I find this bike revs on and keeps revving. It's got a lot of rev, and I think it's definitely a big improvement from the standard bike. Just with the piping ignition, it's made that lot much of a difference. It's really good.
Right, so let's have a look at the lap times then. So it was first one
On the stocker, right at the beginning of the day when the track was in quite good condition, it was a 2:15.14.
Yep, and now it's a bit heavier, a bit deeper. And what were we able to get on the race tune?
2:12.53.
So that's well done, well done. Yeah. Considering the level of upgrades that you've actually done to the bike.
It's a pipe and a CDI, you know, you can plug it in, anybody can plug it in the garage, bit of a jet spec and you're good to go.
You actually haven't done much to the bike to get those gains. This is only stage one of the project though, isn't it? We've got another video coming very soon where Roland's going to go full works on the bike, work all of his magic. We're going to make it look a bit different as well. We reckon we turn this into a rocket ship, but the next step is to make the world's best 125 in it. That's his mission. That's we're going to be along for the journey to film it, and Matt might even be back to have a go. So keep an eye out for that one coming soon. So quite incredibly, we were able to gain just over 2.5 seconds per lap with our 1.5 horsepower boost from our 2 bolt-on upgrades. But we certainly aren't finished there. We are on a mission to create the world's greatest 125. So be sure to subscribe now to never miss an episode. As always guys, my name is Max, this is 999 Laser, and until next time, I'll see you at the track.